Hello, YouTube communicators. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to run a phone conference that does not suck. In my regular non-YouTube job, I'm a college professor and a researcher, and in that capacity, I have led more than 500 phone conferences. It's a little scary for me to think about it in that way, but I have. And I think the people who participate in my phone conferences generally enjoy themselves and think the meetings are productive. And I'm going to teach you 4 or 5 simple tricks that I use to run these phone conferences to make sure they're useful, productive, cordial, professional, and they do not suck. I'm Bruce Lambert from HowCommunicationWorks.com. Thanks for watching, and let's get started. So the first tip to run a phone conference that does not suck: have an agenda. Send it out in advance. Nobody likes to have to show up for a meeting where they don't know what it's about, where they don't know whether they're going to be expected to speak, where they're not sure when it starts, what the call-in number is, what the password is. All that information should be on the agenda. People will love you for it. So make a simple agenda. Mine are normally just the name of the meeting, the project group, the phone number, the password or meeting number, and then an agenda of topics. Very simple outline. If certain people are assigned to speak for those topics, I tell them who they are so they know that they're expected to make a contribution to the meeting. That's it. It's always a single page. It's a very simple document. Goes out in the email, normally 24 hours before the meeting, with an announcement reminder of the meeting itself. So first tip, have an agenda, send it in advance. And then once the meeting starts, work through the agenda in a systematic way so people feel like the meeting is organized. People will love you for this. Second tip, control the timing of the meeting. This means a couple of things: starting close to on time and stopping on time. So in my experience, you can never start a phone conference exactly on time. If the conference is scheduled for the top of the hour, normally starts at 10:05. If it's scheduled for 9:30, it starts at 9:35. So what I do is I take those first 5 minutes to take the role. This is another one of our secrets to running a good telephone conference. Have you or one of your colleagues who might be the secretary or the manager, the project manager for the meeting, take the role so you know who's in the meeting, you know who you can address during the meeting, and for the minutes of the meeting, you know who was in attendance. So in those first 5 minutes, take the role and make small talk, see how the weather is around the country, do all that other conference call stuff. At 5 minutes past the published start time of the meeting, get the meeting started out of respect for the people who came to the meeting on time. But everyone needs a little time to get to these meetings. We've all been in that position where we're a few minutes late, searching for the phone number, searching for the meeting number, trying to find the agenda that we sent via email and so on. Never go overtime. People will hate you if you go overtime. Sometimes my meetings go over, but when they get to the published end time, I release people. I say, we're at the top of the hour. This is when we'll schedule to be done. If you have to go, thanks so much. We'll talk to you next time. If you have a few more minutes to stay, we're going to talk a little bit longer. And that way I give people explicit permission to go if they have to. They don't have to feel bad. And a lot of people will click off at that point. The next tip, control access to the floor. The floor is the right to speak, the opportunity to have your turn at talk. A phone conference lacks many of the signals that we have in face-to-face conversation that tell us whether it's our turn to talk, whether we can have access to the floor. You can't raise your hand. You can't do all the other stuff that you might do in a physical meeting. There's technological ways to raise your hand in some of these conference call software packages, but in my experience, they don't work very well. You just have to, the leader has to control access to the floor. That means saying something like, Bob, you go first, and then Bill. And then if people talk simultaneously, which they sometimes do by accident, you have to say one person at a time. Bob, let's hear from you first, and then Bill. So control access to the floor. It's one of your most important responsibilities in a crowded phone conference to make sure there's no simultaneous talking and people have an opportunity to speak. Related to that is it's your responsibility to explicitly call on and encourage the participation of the less powerful, less prestigious members of the team. This can often be the youngest members of the team. Sometimes in male-dominated cultures, it could be the women on the team. It's your job as the meeting leader to make sure everyone gets an opportunity to speak so that the team can benefit from everyone's expertise. So control access to the floor, avoid simultaneous speaking, call on people explicitly so we get full participation. As the meeting wraps up, express explicit thanks to the people in the meeting and be liberal in your praise, liberal in your gratitude. When people take time out to be in a conference call, they could be doing something else. They're very busy. So I thank people for their time. I thank people for their contribution. I praise them liberally. It costs me nothing to express praise and gratitude, and people like to hear it. That encourages them to be good members of the team. And so I like to do it a lot. It makes me feel good to thank them, and I genuinely am grateful. Finally, when the meeting is over, announce the adjournment explicitly. Sometimes if we finish the agenda before the hour is up, I'll say, that's all we've got for today. We'll see you next month on the 28th. So I like to announce the date of the next meeting. It's normally in the agenda, but I like to announce it. And then I say, thanks everybody, we are adjourned. And I think this is really a good tip to explicitly end the meeting. Otherwise, people are not quite sure, are we going to keep talking? Is there more to say? And they don't know whether they can click off the meeting. So that's it. Let me recap those tips really quickly. Have an agenda. Mail it in advance. Follow the agenda. Start the meeting no more than 5 minutes after the published start time. During those first 5 minutes, take the roll and make small talk. End the meeting early if you're finished with the agenda. Control access to the floor. That is your job to call on the people to speak. You have to discourage simultaneous talking. You have to say one speaker at a time, and then you have to identify in what order people can speak if they were talking simultaneously. You also have to use your power to encourage the participation of the less prestigious, less powerful, less talkative members of the team in order to get full participation. At the end of the meeting, express thanks and gratitude liberally for their time and for their contributions to the project and the call. And then announce the adjournment explicitly. With these tips, you can run really effective phone conferences that do not suck. People will want to be on your calls. They'll know that they start on time and end on time, that they have a chance to talk, and that their contributions will be appreciated. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed this sort of video. If you do me a big favor, please. This channel is new. I need some engagement and interaction to know what people want. So click the like button over here. Click the subscribe button over here. Subscribe to the channel so you get announcements of new content. But even more importantly, go down below and write me a comment. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. Tell me what you'd like to hear about next. Thank you so much for your time. Just like people who come to a phone conference, you have other things to do, and you spent that time watching this video, so I'm really grateful that you did. We'll see you next time.